Welcome back, conscious travelers. I'm so grateful that you're here watching this video. So vulnerabilities. Vulnerability is a very difficult conversation to have because majority of the time it takes us to be vulnerable to have it. The irony of it, right? We usually want to come across as being perfect to everybody and anything, because if it's perfect, then nothing can tear it down. If you're able to make a perfect being that has its suit of armor and nothing can penetrate it, then it's perfect. And if there's anything that we know in life, it's that nothing or no one or no situation is perfect. So why attempt to be something that we know is non-existent? The other thing that kind of comes to mind is we need to be vulnerable with others, and it encourages them to be vulnerable with us. For example, if you go to someone you've never met before and ask them the darkest thing about them, it's going to be hard for that person to open up. They don't know you. They want to be shielded off. It's a hard conversation for them to even have with themselves. So how can they even allow it with somebody else, somebody they don't know? And so therefore, a huge step is to be vulnerable first. And this is something that I've noticed that in my relationships, when you take a second to be vulnerable without even asking, the other person will open up and be vulnerable with you. It's really quite profound and, very fascinating how we have this ability to mimic and reciprocate, there it is, and to reciprocate, our feelings of vulnerability. And even as an example, as me sitting here, it's level one, vulnerable for me to record myself, to put myself out there. And the intention, I guess, that I have is that it'll help people in other ways, whether it's through meditation or any ideas that you come up with just by talking or just by listening to what I have to offer. My goal is to connect, with other people who might be like-minded, thinking similar thoughts. But the crux of that is that I have to be vulnerable. I have to show you my imperfections. I have to record and upload and be okay knowing nothing is perfect and nothing is forever. And if you look at the people that you kind of admire the most, they almost honor their imperfections and wear them as their own shield. We were talking earlier about how nothing is perfect. Well, if you take your imperfections and wear them as if they're a shield and show them the light or show them in the face of everybody else, it almost builds up, it almost makes you attuned to being okay with the imperfection, if that makes sense. Like you're saying, hey, here I am, here's my imperfection, do what you want with it. You can't hurt me with it because it's already mine and I'm already owning it. It's almost like the universe would use it against you. Here's a great example I'll give you from my personal life, and sharing this on a video that I'm going to post on YouTube is quite vulnerable for me to do. But the power is that I was already vulnerable with somebody else about this. So for example, I have acne, a fairly normal thing, and more so kind of on my legs and my butt, to be specific. Whenever I would be with somebody, a girl, I would usually try to hide my backside from them. Like anytime I'd get out of bed, anytime I'd kind of turn on the light, I'd make sure it's a little dimly lit. And I realized that this was creating a lot more fear and uncomfortability within myself, which then gets produced onto the external environment. And I was with a girl, and for some reason, something compelled me to share this with her. I was like, I don't remember exactly how the dialogue went, but I essentially said what I just said here is, hey, I have this insecurity. And the way she received it was quite therapeutic. It was just like, okay. It's like, okay, and what else? It's almost like you're expecting somebody, it was almost as if she was expecting me to tell her that I was a serial killer, the way it's kind of brought up. And I think that I held on to this a lot stronger and a lot closer to myself than what the average person, no, I'm sorry, not the average person. I held on to this so much such that it built up this negative energy within me that I was portraying myself. The energy was equivalent to that of a serial killer. That's how afraid I was to even share or show someone that. And it was quite beautiful because then, she's like, well, I wanted to tell you that this is my biggest insecurity. And right there was proof positive that this ability to be vulnerable with others, A, it heals yourself, and then B, it heals the other person. So quite frankly, I see this whole thing as a win-win. And if we extrapolate back to this YouTube channel, wow. If we extrapolate back to this YouTube channel, that's what I'm hoping to accomplish here. It's really me just documenting my life findings and relaying them back to you. And anyone else that can relate or see the same synchronicities in their own life, I'm hoping that it helps you transcend into the next realm, transcend to higher consciousness. And so with that being said, I appreciate you guys for joining me. If you noticed I was a little calm, it's because I was just meditating. But yeah, I should get you guys another meditation. Other than that, I'd love to hear any comments of, if you want to, it would be super vulnerable if you drop a comment about what your biggest insecurity is, but that's okay. I know that's a big one. But yeah, let me know if this has resonated with you, or if you've ever shared an insecurity with someone and then they were sharing an insecurity back, Other than that, do all the fun stuff like share, comment, subscribe. Helps with the algorithm, helps this message get to more people. And other than that, let's grow together.